Hey guys, how's it going? So, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the singleback ace twins formation out of the Houston Texans playbook. I picked this formation because they have a lot of unique plays in it that I haven't seen in any other playbook, and there's a lot of plays in it that I could see myself running in an actual game situation, which I really like. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Personnel-wise, I put my biggest receiver out left, so that's Andre Johnson. Put your second best receiver in the slot, so I have DeAndre Hopkins in the slot. And then I like my best catch and traffic tight end on the left, so in that case I have CJ Fedorowicz. And on the right you have Garrett Graham. And this formation works really well if you have two good tight ends who can catch the ball and have a little bit of speed. So go ahead and jump right into it. The base play, the play that I like the most out of this formation is this Texans post play, the A play. So I'll go ahead and show you this play first. Whoops, that was a weird camera view. Okay, so pretty much you can either, I don't make any adjustments. The only adjustment I would make is you can block Arian Foster if your opponent likes bringing heat. Sometimes I'll block him, sometimes I'll leave him on the route. It just really depends. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say blocking him is probably the safer option just because I think there's a lot of good reads on the play. And he's pretty much just out there to clear out a zone. You're hardly ever going to throw it to him on that auto motion streak. So I usually will end up blocking him. And pretty much the reads on the play, you want to look for Garrett Graham dragging over the middle. And then you want to move your eyes up. If he's not open, you look for CJ Fedorowicz on the post route, and then DeAndre Hopkins on the post behind him. And then you've got the one-on-one option on the left with Andre Johnson if you're confident in that. And the reason I love this play so much is because of that DeAndre Hopkins post route. It gets really good positioning against zones where you can throw it and undercut the ball before the zones can undercut it. And then also it beats man-to-man really well. So I'll go ahead and run this a few times for you guys here. And right there, you just have to be patient. I saw that Fedorowicz was going to break open after he passed that linebacker. And so that's what I did. I just stayed patient. And this is a play you really do have to stay patient on and just kind of wait for, since there's a lot of routes going over the middle of the field, especially against zone coverage, you just have to wait for them to clear the zones in front of them. And right there, I took a sack. I was trying to hit I was trying to hit DeAndre Hopkins, but that was my fault. I should have thrown the ball sooner. Right here, they're in goal line, so that really doesn't count at all. But yeah, it's a really good play that I like. They're in goal line again. I'm just going to run the ball. While I did that, the down run audible is the HB zone weak, which I do like as a complement to the other run play I like out of this formation, which is the HB stretch to the right. So I'll just throw that in there while I ran that. I'll run this a couple more times for you guys here. Right there, just kind of took the check down, and Garrett Graham dropped it, but I only would have gotten like 1 yard. I'm trying to get up. Okay, I got hit as I threw. I'm trying to get it to that DeAndre Hopkins post route, since that's my favorite route on the play, but he's always covered. There we go. Okay, so that was against man-to-man, and if you throw it right as he cuts against man-to-man, you'll always be able to click on and make a user catch. Since he pretty much will always get inside positioning, and he gets a nice little speed burst when he cuts out of that post, and he generally leaves his defender behind, especially if it's man-to-man. So right there, hit Fedorowicz again. So it's a really solid play that I really like to run. While I'm here, I'll look at the quick audibles. Quick audible up is stick. I've gone over stick before, just kind of read it flat to the stick route by the tight end. So you always read Hopkins and then Fedorowicz. And this is a good short yardage situation kind of play. Just don't overrun it and get it picked off, because if it gets picked off, there's a good chance it's a pick six. The down run audible I already showed you guys, zone weak. It's a good complement to the HB stretch, which is also in the formation, which runs the ball to the left. You can just try to get upfield. Not going to bust too many huge gains off of that play, but it's a nice solid play that your opponent has to respect. The deep pass is slot under, which is another play that I like out of this formation. And that's another good thing, is it has pretty good formation audibles. Pretty much what I do in this play is I read the seams, so I'll look at both tight ends. If either of them is open, you can go ahead and throw it, and then you want to look at Hopkins coming across the middle. and your last read is pretty much Foster in the flat or Andre on the curl. You can throw the curl route against man-to-man. That's generally when I'll throw it. But whenever you throw it, you want to pass lead it down so that it doesn't get picked off. Otherwise, if you don't pass lead it down, the defender has a tendency to, it's like 50-50 in my experience, to jump the route. And if you jump a curl route, it's probably going to be a pick six. So you really don't want that. So right there, you can just see Garrett Graham in the seam. And that's the good thing about this play, is if your opponent's not like directly covering both tight ends over them, you can just quick hike throw it into the seam and get good yardage. And right there again, if there's a little seam, just go ahead and throw it. It's a very good play if your opponent's blitzing linebackers or moving people around and you see that there's no defender over the tight end. You can go ahead and check down this play. I'll try to run it one more time for you guys to try to get that on the DeAndre Hopkins route. Try to fit that in there. And that route works really well because the two tight ends do a nice job of clearing out the zones and bringing them back, and then Hopkins comes in underneath. And the play action audible is PA Texan curl, which I don't really run ever. I mean, if you do want to run it, it's got a nice little shallow cross by Hopkins. I'll go ahead and show you guys. It's good against man-to-man. It's pretty much like a deeper drag route almost. But yeah, if you want to run that against man-to-man, I guess you can. Against zone, I guess you can as well. It'll just be if you want to hit Hopkins underneath for a couple yards and try to get upfield or something. And then you kind of have a nice rub by Foster off the play action if he doesn't get like tackled in the backfield, since that happens sometimes on play action. The PA flanker stretch, and I'll go ahead and talk about the HB dive. That's another alternative to the zone weak. If you don't like the zone weak, you can, if you're doing a custom or if you're doing custom audibles, you can change the zone weak to the dive. It's a fine mix-up as long as it's a complement to the stretch, which goes to the outside. You want an inside run. So yeah, the PA flanker stretch is another nice play that I like. You've got pretty much my reads on this play. You go Graham on the out route, Fedorowicz on the shallow cross, and then you have Hopkins on the post over the middle, and then the one-on-one with Andre if he's open. So right there, I saw Graham get a beat on his man to the outside and just go ahead and take that 7 or 8 yards. You always want to take what the defense gives you. Right there, I tried to squeeze that in. I probably should have thrown it sooner. That was a bad read on my part, though. I definitely should have thrown that sooner. Right there, cover 2, you can go ahead and split the safeties. Just make sure against cover 2, if you are throwing that post route, it's really good against cover 2, but sometimes the middle linebacker will drop super deep and he'll be able to make a play on the ball, so don't just blindly throw it when you see cover 2. Just always be wary of that middle linebacker. Right there. And that's a really good play if your opponent's either playing a lot of cover 2 or if they're using a safety and they're kind of playing up around the line of scrimmage, trying to like look for the run game, look for any shallow crossing routes, and they're being super over aggressive with that safety. You can run this play action, try to get them to bite on it and run up, and then you hit them with the post over the middle. You can go for huge gains. So go ahead and run it one more time. Try to get the user catch to Andre. See the one-on-one. Don't be afraid to take that, especially with an elite receiver like Andre. So that's pretty much that play. Very, very good play, in my opinion. Got a lot of different reads, a lot of effective routes. Other plays, this page of plays I don't really run other than zone weak. PA Texan wheel. Wheel routes used to be really good, but I'm not really that big of a fan of them anymore. And then PA Texan curl I already went over as the play action audible. This little mini series with the auto motion, already went over Texan post, how I like that play. Texan ends is a very good play for short yardage situations. Pretty much what I like to do is you can leave Foster on his auto motion. Generally what I'll do is I'll slant the left tight end, so Fedorowicz. And the reason I do that is so that he clears out faster. Because initially he's on an in route, and he doesn't really run quick enough. It gets really clustered up because Hopkins ends up catching up to him, and then Johnson's right behind him. So you have like 3 people running in the same area, which you don't really want. So I put him on a slant route so he gets across the field a little quicker. And then after you do that, you can either block Foster or leave him on the auto motion. It really doesn't matter. And then you just kind of make reads right there. If the defender right there is caught up on the out route by Graham, like he was right there, you can go ahead and hit Fedorowicz since there's no defender in that area. Otherwise, you pretty much just want to read. I always read the out route first by Graham, and then come back to Fedorowicz, Hopkins, Johnson. Just read from right to left, and then I'll show you guys with a blocked Arian Foster here. And that was against zone, and that was against man-to-man, I'm sorry. It was against the man blitz, so I knew Fedorowicz would have positioning on his man. Right here. Tried to hit the in route to Hopkins, and he dropped it. But it's a very good short yardage situation play that your opponent. It's actually a very good complement to stick now that I think about it, because stick really attacks the outside of the defense to the flat, and while this really attacks the inside of the defense. So it could be a very good little 1-2 punch combo in short yardage situations if you mix up your play calling and they don't know which one they need to try and defend. The other play that deals with the auto motion is tight end option. Pretty much I leave everything the same. You've got curl flat on the left, and you've got a post and an option route by the tight end over the middle, and then you have the auto motion sluggo on the right. And pretty much I'll always block Foster on this play unless my opponent's playing a lot of man-to-man. If they're playing a lot of man-to-man and you get a linebacker matched up on your running back on that sluggo route, it can pretty much be an automatic touchdown, especially if there's no safety. So unless he's playing a ton of man-to-man, I would just go ahead and block Foster, because otherwise you're never going to throw that route. And pretty much my reads on this play are always Hopkins in the flat. If he's open, go ahead and throw it. If not, you look for Graham, then Fedorowicz, and then Johnson. So go ahead and run this for you guys. Right there, Hopkins was in the flat open. Just go ahead and take what the defense gives you. Nice 5 or 6 yard gain. Right there, hit Graham on his little curl route. The linebacker sank too far back. This isn't really a home run type of play. It's more of a steady 5 to 10 yards kind of play. Make your opponent defend a lot of different areas of the field. Right there, read the curl flat. Was able to get a good beat on the defender and turn it into a huge gain. So just making the right reads on this play is very important, as is on every play. But you guys get what I'm saying. Right there, just catch the ball, try to get upfield, and hopefully you can truck a linebacker and get 5 more yards. So that's pretty much it for that play. Very consistent mix-up play that you can run, that I like to run. Right here, don't really run the PA vertical or the PA Texan boot. However, the stretch is the run play I was telling you guys about earlier. That's a nice complement to the zone weak. He really attacks the outside of the defense right there. They got a nice block shed. I think that was Eric Walden, and he was able to make a play on me. But hopefully that doesn't happen a lot of times. Right there, the double team did not. Garrett Graham did not sift off of the double team and block the linebacker. But you guys know stretches are pretty effective run plays, especially if your opponent's pinching their line or not respecting the perimeter of the defense. You can get upfield, especially if you have a quicker back. Arian Foster's pretty quick. He's definitely a workhorse though. So just a very nice run. You can run it to the right, you can run it to the left. It doesn't really matter. Go ahead and mix it up so your opponent doesn't catch on to your tendencies, and just establish that run game and just give them something else to think about. That's pretty much my whole goal with this play, is to give my opponent something to tell them, if you don't respect this every play, then I'm just going to run it. Like, they can't go one play without respecting the run game, because if they do, you're just going to run the ball down their throat. And I think that's really important this year's Madden, since running the ball has been so effective thus far. The other plays out of the formation, so that's the little 1-2 punch combo with the stretch and the zone weak. Slide under, I went over. The draw, I don't really run. Texan double post, I do like this play. Pretty much my reads are Fedorowicz, Hopkins, Johnson, and then you've got Foster out the backfield on that check down. Really not a quick hitting play, but multiple levels that your opponent has to guard over the middle of the field. It can be difficult to guard if he's trying to user it. Just make sure you don't get lurked. Make sure they don't cover Fedorowicz at first and then sink back to Johnson and pick it off or something. Just be wary of that. All right here. You can fit that in. Make sure to pass lead that to the right so that it doesn't go deep enough so that the deep safety can't come up and make a play on it. So pass leading is very important, especially when throwing these post routes. You always want to pass lead pretty much straight to the right so that it levels it out and so that you can click on and cut off the ball before the safety is able to get there. Right there, Fedorowicz got a huge separation on his guy over the middle. And that's against man-to-man, that's pretty much what you're looking for. Either Fedorowicz or Johnson should be able to get positioning on their man and you can make an easy throw. Hopkins is there more as a check down. Like in that situation, nobody was on him. Obviously, if no one's around him, go ahead and throw it and try to get upfield. Make them respect that. They'll have to user that or put a zone right there just to occupy him or man him up. Either way, they're using a defender to take away a little baby hitch route, and that'll open up hopefully some of the other things behind him, like Johnson's post route. I'll just run this one more time. Fedorowicz over the middle. So really good play, really good, a lot of different, or not a lot, but 2 different post routes that your opponent has to try to cover, and they pretty much have to pick one, and if they pick wrong, you get nice yardage. So I like that play a lot. Other plays out of the formation, I went over stick. Flood I don't really run, even though they do have a tight end post on the right side, which is pretty nice. But I haven't really messed around with that play, so I'm not going to talk about it much. Slants is a nice short yardage, another nice short yardage play. It's kind of similar to the Texan ends that I talked about earlier, but it's kind of more quick hitting, I guess. I would always look for Hopkins first, and then Johnson, and then the flats. So like snap the ball, I'm always looking for Hopkins. Right there, he dropped it. If I ran this play, I'd probably switch Hopkins and Johnson because I want to hit the slot receiver, and I'd rather my better catch and traffic receiver be in the slot. But just for the demonstration, I forgot to do that. But pretty much, I'm always looking for that slot slant first, and then you want to look for that the slant coming across after him. But a lot of times, I find that slot slant's open. Right there, it wasn't open. The linebacker actually ran with him, and I was able to hit Johnson behind him. So just be sure not to kind of key in on any certain route, not have tunnel vision, and throw a costly interception on that play. And the last page, you've got the slip screen, the toss strong, and X spot. I don't really run the toss strong or X spot. Slip screen is slip screen. Under center screens, I'm not as big of a fan as shotgun screens, but they're still fine. Just kind of have to get back and hope that you get some blocking on like right there. Just be careful of not getting, sometimes people will come like flying up the A gap. In that case, you kind of have to just run backwards and try to get rid of the ball as soon as possible. Right there, I got pretty good blocking and was able to try and get upfield. So yeah, just be careful if you're not used to running slip screens from under center. The heat does get there a lot quicker. Right there, Foster turned around right as I threw it. But yeah, just be wary about that. So that's pretty much it for this formation, guys. It's there's a lot of plays that I really like out of it, and that's what I really like about it is that since there's so many different plays, so many different route combinations that your opponent has to respect, it's very tough to defend, especially if you save. Since there's so many different plays you can run, you can save some plays for later in the game in crucial situations, so that your opponent really won't be expecting or won't know what you're about to run. So I hope this was able to help you guys out. If you're on the Houston book, or if you're on a custom or something, you can go ahead and add this in. On my next video, I'll be breaking down a formation out of the Indianapolis Colts playbook, so be looking forward to that. And I'll also be putting out a mutt pack opening video, 60-pack mutt, or 60-pack mutt opening video. I'm not that fluent in mutt. I haven't really messed around with it much, so I don't really know much about it. But I'm going to go ahead and put that out. I might put that video out actually before this one, I don't know. So you guys might have already seen it by the time you're watching this video. But if I haven't, go ahead and be on the lookout for that, guys. So thanks for watching. I hope it was able to help you out. And you guys have a great day.